Whip making fail. That's what this is right here. Hello, my name is Adam Winrich, 32-time Guinness World Record holder for whip cracking, and in this video I'm going to pick apart a 6.5 foot long 24 plat Spectra bullwhip that I just finished, and it's maybe too hyperbolic to say that is a complete failure. I'm going to talk about why I made this whip, how I made it, and say what I like about it and what I don't like about it, and why for this particular customer I'm actually going to make something completely different and send this off to somebody else. So a little bit of backstory. This whip was meant to go to a whip performer, Chris Camp, the whip guy. So Chris starts out his shows with a 6-foot kangaroo leather bullwhip, usually, but the one he had, he broke it. So last summer he ordered a 6.5 foot Spectra bullwhip from me. I finally got it done about January, and then I sent it to him, and when he got it, he thought, it's a little bit too light. And I told him, if you don't like it, you send it back right away, I'll make you another one. But he kept it for a while, and it wasn't until now, the middle of June, when he started doing shows with it, that I realized, it's not quite loud enough, and he does a spin in the air, a little toss, and he wanted it to spin faster. Because it was lightweight, he felt like it just sort of laid flat in the air, wouldn't whip around. So when he told that to me, I was like, okay, I think I know exactly what I need to do to change my Spectra bullwhip design so it'll do what you want to do. So to make this whip louder, what I did is I extended the length of ball chain. So his old whip that was too light only had 22 inches of ball chain. This one has 27 inches of ball chain, which starts at the end of the handle. And I also added an extra length of ball chain right in here, 13 inches of ball chain right there. So that added more weight to the whip, so that should make it louder. And also, to make it a little bit heavier, I made this one 24 plat. His other whip was only 20 plat, so it adds a little bit of extra weight to the handle, and more importantly, a little extra weight in the start of the whip right here, which should help it spin faster in the air. And so I put a lot of time into this whip. I put a lot of time into the patterns and the handles. I did a really nice job on this pineapple knot. And then when I got done with the whip, took it outside and cracked it, I just had this feeling like, this is not as loud as it could be, and it doesn't spin as fast as it could. So I decided I'm not going to send this 6.5 foot Spectra bullwhip to Chris. I'm actually going to make him a 6.5 foot 275 chord whip. So why would I do that? I guess for me, the positives of Spectra is that it is super durable. It actually has a higher tensile strength than steel, and my father-in-law has been using Spectra bullwhips that I've made him for a few years now, and they are still going strong when he normally wears out a paracord bullwhip within a year. However, the downside with Spectra is that it is less dense than paracord. It's also less dense than water. That is why it is often used in marine applications, like for ropes and fishing line. So while it's strong, it's less dense. If I make the same whip but out of 275 cord, it won't be as durable, but it'll perform a lot better. It'll take in more wax. It'll also be denser. So that by itself will make the whip louder. So I think that adding that, using a more dense material for the outside of the whip will help it be louder. And then to make it spin faster, I'm going to change out my handle foundation. So this handle foundation is a length of fiberglass rod, 5/16 of an inch in diameter and 12 inches long. I'm going to replace that with a hollow piece of graphite that I got from a fishing rod blank. So having a hollow handle should make the handle lighter, making the whip more nose heavy, which should also make it louder and make it spin faster. In my personal experience, when whips are more noise heavy, it's easier to get louder cracks out of them. So that's a little bit about what I like and don't like about this whip. And to continue with the braided part of it, I do really like what I did with the handle. I know it's white on white, so it's very hard to see. But I did some double diamonds, took a little break right there, and more double diamonds, single diamonds, some short herringbone, and then some gaucho weave, and then some tighter gaucho weave. Very nice looking pattern. I'm very happy with that. Some things with the braiding I'm not very happy about is that with Spectra, because it's so slippery in the nature of it, sometimes when the whip is flexing, certain strands like buckle up on each other. It's probably hard to see in the video. Most of the strands that are buckling up when I flex the whip, maybe you can see that one right there, those are drop strands where I drop them out of the back, so there's a little bit of a double up on the back seam. And I think because that one Spectra strand runs just a little bit longer than the one next to it, that's why it's buckling up. And I know these strands aren't going to pull out over time, because I found that once you wax a Spectra whip, the Spectra sits in really nice and it won't pull out. If this were a kangaroo leather whip and strands were doing that, I would be very concerned that over time the strands would pull out. But these strands should stay in there just fine. Most every one of these drop strands runs at least 4 inches inside the whip. Some of them run longer than that. So I'm not worried about the whip coming apart. It's just sort of a cosmetic flaw that I don't care for. So to fix that, all I'm going to do in the next 24 plat Spectra bullwhip I make is drop all of my strands out of the front. So I'd be braiding down, maybe start dropping right here, drop 2 out of the front, and then I should be able to turn it around and continue braiding so I can continue to drop more strands out of the front. And I just keep repeating that process on down the whip. Well, that's a little bit about a Spectra bullwhip I just made. Now this project wasn't a complete waste. I do have a friend of mine in Australia that has wanted one of these, so he's going to get this one, and hopefully he enjoys the excellent job I feel that I did in the handle of this whip. Well, my name is Adam Winrich. Thanks for watching. Shout out to Christopher Wright and Alyssa Iris, who had an interest in me sort of picking apart work from different whip makers, and I thought they might enjoy a video where I'm picking apart my own work.